Welcome back, adventurers, to some more Lord of the Rings Online. This episode's going to be a little bit shorter. I'm going to do all of the quests that I missed here along the way in the Trollshaws. So I finally went through all the spreadsheets and online and did my completionist spreadsheet for all the quests here, and I realized that I was missing just a handful of them. There are plenty of others here that I did not do, but that's because they end either in other regions or I have to be a higher level to do them. So I'll have to come back to them at some point. However, there is a handful of them that I can do right now. So let's get started. Number 1, there are 3 quests that require a drop from certain creatures, and once you get those items, it starts a quest. Now, you may remember in a previous episode I mentioned that some of the links in the High Moor might have dropped a quest item, and in fact they do. It turns out that they drop these 2 items right here. The lynx will drop this perfect lynx hide, and then there is a named creature, and his name is Windscreamer. He drops this unique lynx hide, and they both start quests. Now, I was killing lynx in the High Moors for like an hour and a half, and I never got these drops. So I opened up a help ticket and asked the game masters if the quests were even still in the game, because it just was not dropping. And they told me yes, the quests are still in the game, and it got to the point where I didn't believe them. I thought they made it up, because I had killed lynx for about 3 hours before I got this one. And then right afterwards, I actually managed to get Windscreamer that drops this one to spawn. So I don't know if I'm just really unlucky, or if the drop rate for these 2 are really low. Either way, I managed to pull up my recording software right when Windscreamer popped up, because I wanted to record him for you. So I guess I'll show him right now, and also some of the other links with a little bit of editing. Okay, so that's that. Let's go ahead and actually do these quests. Though beautiful, there is little that you can do with this lynx hide. If you were to find an elven tailor of skill, you might convince him to work the hide into an elegant cloak. And then this one, of course. The lynx hide is beautiful and may make a strong and elegant cloak. You must find an elf skilled with light armor to craft a cloak from this hide. Alright. So let's go find these people. It looks like they're right here in the market of Rivendell. That's why I kind of started this episode right here. In all my years, I have not seen the lynx stalking amongst the stones. Yet, I have long lived within the safety of Imladris. The wild beasts grow more aggressive as each day passes, and evil stirs in the heart of Middle-earth. Your victory shows your cunning and skill, and I shall weave a cloak from this mantle worthy of your feet. Alright, and then finally, in all my years, I have not seen the lynx stalking amongst the stones, yet I have long lived within the safety of Imladris. The beasts grow more aggressive as each day passes, and evil stirs in the heart of Middle-earth. Your victory shows your cunning, and I shall weave a cloak from this mantle worthy of your feet. Let me see if this is actually any good, because it's probably the most difficult quest I've done in Lord of the Rings Online so far. Like I said, it took me like 3 hours of killing lynx to get this thing. Stupid. Reward's not even that good. But anyways, that's 2 of them. There is a 3rd quest here that starts from a drop from an enemy, which I had not done previously. And that is going to be this one right here. It starts the quest Valuable Heartwood, and you get a Shining Heartwood from some wood trolls. So let me do some editing to show you exactly where that is. Okay, now the problem with this one is that whenever I try to start the quest, it says using that item has no effect. And I did a little bit of digging around, and it turns out that this quest, for some reason, is level 50. So I suspect that the reason why I can't start the quest with this item is because I'm nowhere near level 50. I think once I hit level 45, I may be able to use this. So I'm going to hang on to this item for now, and I'm going to have to come back to this quest a little bit later. Probably in the next season, because in the Misty Mountains, which is where the next season is, I actually have to come back to Rivendell several times for some of the quests there. So I'll be returning to the Trollshaws a little bit in the next season, and that may be a good opportunity to do this quest then. Alright, so aside from those 3 quests, there are a few more, so let's cut to those. Okay, so next up are 2 quests that become unavailable depending on the order of which you do things. So I'm going to have to recreate these 2 quests artificially. It really is not a big deal, but man, when I promise 100%, I mean it, so we're gonna do this. So if you have not been to the last bridge yet, and you have not been to Thorinhead yet, and this is your first contact with the elves, this guy would have 2 quests for you. Number 1, he would have the quest to the last bridge, assuming you have not spoken with the 2 elves by the last bridge. And speaking with him, he would say, "Greetings, friend, and welcome to Imladris. Are you here at the behest of the Rangers? Perhaps you would aid us in patrolling these lands. One of our scouts, Outflank, guards the last bridge from the Lonelands into the Trollshaws. You should speak with her and learn how you might aid her." Now, accepting this quest would also immediately transport you to the last bridge, which I'll do here in just a second. Likewise, this guy has a second quest called To Thorinhead. However, if you have already spoken with some of the elves in Thorinhead, this quest is no longer available. But again, if this is your first contact with the elves, speaking with this guy, he would say, "I do not believe you have been told yet of Thorinhead. Elrond has sent scouts there to patrol the wilds of the Trollshaws and search out the evil that lurks in those old hills. I'm sure you will be welcome there, for the Trollshaws are a broad land and our people too few. Seek out Elrond's son, Elrohir, and say that I have sent you to support him. Thorinhead is a ruin atop a hill north of the bear dens of the Brunnen Gorges. It is to the east of Barakin's camp and some distance west of here." Alright, so now let's do those 2 quests by going to the last bridge and to Thorinhead themselves. Okay, so for the quest to Thorinhead, the objective is to speak with Elrohir here. He is Elrond's son here in Thorinhead, and at this point he would say, "You are welcome to join our company, Kippen. My brother and I have done our best, but there is more still to be done if we are to keep this land safe from the servants of the enemy." And at that point, that quest would conclude. So next up, let's finish up to the last bridge. Okay, as a reminder, if you speak with the elf at Rivendell to get this quest to the last bridge, you are automatically transported here to this little camp, and in order to complete the quest, you simply have to talk to Outflank. Now, the LOTRO wiki doesn't really tell me what text Outflank would say at this point, it just says pending. So I don't know, we'll just assume that they're trying to transport you over here so you can begin some of the quests on the western borders of the Trollshaws. Alright, besides these quests, there's only one more that I didn't do here in the Trollshaws that I'm going to do right now, and it's a really cool one. I think you guys are going to enjoy it, so I'll meet you at the starting point in just a little bit. Okay, so there is one more quest here in Garbert's Cottage, which for some reason I missed along the way, even though I was here quite a lot. So let's go ahead and speak with him. It's called Bert, Tom, and Bill, and if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you should definitely know what that is.
Stay a moment.
Many years ago, my grandparents lived in a quiet village not far from here. It was a peaceful place, and they were very happy, but one day, 3 monstrous trolls came to the village and caused great destruction. My grandparents fled, and eventually my grandfather built this cottage here on the bank of the Brunnen. His son lived in the cottage with them, and I was later born here. I grew up and took a wife, and my parents left me the cottage when they passed on. Affinan and I have lived here ever since. I have always wondered what happened to those 3 trolls. Bert, Tom, and Bill they were called, and the names send shivers down my spine even today. I'm sure they must have come to a bad end being trolls, but if you can find where they ended up and learn of their tale, I'd be glad to hear it. Okay? So obviously these are the 3 famous trolls from the book The Hobbit. And I don't want to spoil anything just yet for those of you who are unfamiliar, so let's go on over this way and see if we can find any clues as to what happened to the 3 monstrous trolls. And they're quite far away. It might take me a little while to get there, but I'm not going to edit. We're going to enjoy this landscape together. It's one of the last few times here because this season is coming to an end. After this episode, there's only 2 more here for the season. It's going to be a skirmish that takes place in the Fords of Brunnen. And then finally, the final episode of the season where I'll go over all the deeds, reputation, all that good stuff. I hate this little area because I can never get out of here. I always have a hard time leaving this place. Always get lost. Guess I can come up through here and then cut across. That works. I might get knocked off my horse here in a hot second. But what can you do? Oh no, how do I, Oh, never mind. There was a glare on my screen and I didn't see that this winded up. Actually, we're definitely in the wrong place. We are definitely in the wrong place. Oh my god. Of course I get lost in the last episode here of quests. Alright, I'll do a little bit of editing. Maybe I'll just fast forward this until I get back on the right track. Okay, looks like we're back on the right track here. Hopefully I won't get lost anymore. So tired of getting lost this season. I feel like that's all I've done. Oh man, I didn't even see that. Ran right into a level 50. Too busy looking at my map, making sure I don't get lost again. And I'm going to stay on the high ground here, that way I don't have to climb any mountains or anything like that. See, that's where I was. That's where I was lost, down there, right? I don't want to jump down, or do I? No, I think I do. Alright, we'll keep going north. And hopefully it all works out. And as a reminder, some of these quest rings you're seeing above some enemies are for repeatable quests, which I have already completed, obviously. But that's why you still see some active quest rings here or there. Alright, should be pretty close here to our objective. A lot of deer here. Some wolves, a couple bats. And here we are. The Stone Trolls Glade. You have found the remains of the mighty stone trolls. Pretty cool. So, pretty important Lord of the Rings landmark here. If you remember, Bilbo and the company of dwarves were almost eaten alive by these 3 trolls. But then Gandalf came, broke off a piece of stone, and the first light of day turned them all to stone. There you go. And then also in The Lord of the Rings, Frodo and the hobbits kind of passed by this area as well. So pretty cool. Take a second to appreciate them. Alright. So now we have to find someone who knows the fate of Bert, Tom, and Bill. And I think we all know who that is, given the little piece of information that I just gave you. So I'm actually going to go speak with Bilbo all the way in Rivendell. And it just so happens that I have my milestone skill set to Rivendell. So that's perfect. My favorite quests tend to be the ones that incorporate events or places from the books and movies of the Lord of the Rings. That's always the most fun in my opinion. So I enjoyed this quest. Now, I don't know if I've talked about this in previous videos, but if you see these little reflecting pools and a person near them, basically they allow you to replay some of the epic quests that you have already done. That way you can enjoy that storyline multiple times as opposed to just once. So there's no reason for me to do those quests since they're again just repeatable things of things that I have already done. Alright, Mr. Bilbo.
Oh, good day.
Bert, Tom, and Bill, you said? My goodness, yes, I know of them. And more than that, they invited me to dinner once. Well, I say invited, but that's not quite true. You might say I invited myself, but hoping to pick a troll's purse is not as easy as you'd expect. And if caught in the act, you might end up being cooked. I was there with the dwarves, you see, and when I didn't come back from my little bit of burglary, the dwarves came to see what had happened. Soon enough, the trolls had bagged them all, and a debate had begun concerning how best to cook and eat us. Well, Gandalf turned up, as he does when most needed, and sure enough, the trolls had spent so long bickering, and they were quite turned to stone at sunup. So that's what happened. I've written all down in my book, but to have lived it is a much different experience than to read about it. If you want to visit old Bert, Tom, and Bill, you'll find them in the wilderness of the Trollshaws off the road. Alright, so now I have to go speak with Garbert once more. And I think I'm just going to edit this one because that is quite a trek. I'm sure you don't want to see me travel that whole way over there. That will probably take, what, like 5 to 6 minutes of just riding around. So I'll see you there. Alright, I'm back here at Garbert's cottage. My parents fled from a gang of trolls many years ago and built this cottage here.
What's your name?
Ah, so that is what happened to those old trolls. I'm glad to have heard the story, Kippen, and thank you for the news. It is good to know that old Bert, Tom, and Bill came to an unhappy end after what they did to my grandparents' village. You have my thanks for the tale, and I will give you this as well. Alright, so after plugging all these quests into my spreadsheet, that is all the quests here in the Trollshaws. Of course, there are several of the quests which I could not do as of yet. You could see them at my website, renaissancegaming.net/lotro.html. Scroll down to Trollshaws, click on that, and then you can see all the quests that I'm still missing. Some of those require me to travel to places that I have not been to yet, or they are too high level for me to do right now, so those are quests that I will come back to at a future time. So in the next episode, I am going to do the only skirmish that is taking place here in the Trollshaws, so that should be a lot of fun. Be sure to join the fellowship by hitting the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.